hold a little space for the presentation we just saw and the energy in the room, and acknowledge that presence with us. Very present. And I'd also like to just reflect on all of the amazing presentations that everybody's given from their heart. Each and every one of you has brought something unique to the table and participated in this experience that we've all shared together. So I think it's pretty incredible. So yeah, give ourselves a hand. Everyone participated. Yeah. So Theo is probably the single most person that I've spent the most time with this last year. And the thing that I've learned about Theo in that time is that he has a deep care for humanity, for the earth, for all beings in general, and actually for the whole cosmos, and all life in the cosmos. He's also taught me, probably more than anybody else, about the logos and the logosphere, and that's what he's going to be talking about today. Through his research and his own personal experience, what he's come to know about the logos. So yeah, I'm just honored to be here with you, Theo, and learn from you. So let them all know what's going on with the logosphere.
Okay. Good. Is that microphone? Is the mic working at all? Yep. Right. So, this is quite an experience with all of you. First thing I'd really like to do is to honor each of us for being here and for dedicating our lives to doing this work. And we have some powerful spiritual warriors in this room right now. And I am consistently, deeply in awe of each of you in every interaction I have with you. And for the suffering that we're willing to grapple with for the betterment of all. It's a big burden that most can't comfortably face, and for us to be able to do that with love and creativity and playfulness, and for us to actually find joy amidst cataclysm, really says a lot about who we are and what it is we are becoming. I had a whole presentation set out, and we'll go into a little bit of it. But more than anything, I'd like to just be here with you, sharing a bit of my own process and why it is I'm here. I mean, really from a young age, I've been, like a lot of you, wondering why the world is the way that it is. Why are things as they are? Why is there so much suffering? And then what do we do about it? Once we learn it, what do we do about it? There's that powerful threshold that I really feel a lot of postmodernists and a lot of amazing people get caught in, where it's just the deconstruction. It's just knowing how bad, how terrible, and not falling back in love with the all. You know, it's, for many years I felt like I was at that place. I had a really, I was an addict from half my young life. I was manically and suicidally depressed. I have body scars to show it, internal scars as well. And for me to move from that place of the deep anguish into that place of somehow falling back in love with the world seemed absolutely impossible for much of my life. And so for us to be doing that, no matter what the outcome, right? Right? That's big. That's a gift to ourselves and to our communities and to our families. Because we don't know, there's the uncertainty. And if this is the last blossoming of our species right now, if we are here as the last embodiment of this human endeavor, how incredible it is that we're here. You know? Like, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. And what a beautiful fruition for our planet to bring forward. It's incredible. It's incredible. But I don't think this is it. I don't think humanity has reached the pinnacle of our embodiment and our power. I feel that we have had a unique set of circumstances in the history of our species. We've had a unique condition in which we've been forced to suffer in ways that I don't know if other species throughout the cosmos have had to experience. Other sentient, potential sentient beings, we'll say. I think humans are unique in that sense. I think the souls that come here knowing that what we're getting into, come here for a soul purification through suffering, through the strengthening of putting ourselves in very difficult situations and somehow making it through and working to bring something better forward again and again and again. That's an incredible amount of perseverance for any species to really embody. And so I can really only speak of the humans as the only sentient species that I have a close relationship with, of course. But what an amazing manifestation we are. I'm just in awe of the whole thing. And we're a young species. We have a ways to go. As Brian said, we are 6% into our evolutionary process. Is that right?
We have to. Yeah.
So
No. Yeah, 6%.
6%. So we have 200 million years ahead of us, relatively. That's a long time. That's
One galactic year.
What's that? It's a galactic year. Cool. You guys, we have a galactic year ahead of us. That's a long time. And I think we are going to do some incredible things with that if we make it through this crisis that we face right now. So we are all here because we want to face this crisis. We're all here because we have chosen to. And we've had the courage to put ourselves in this community together and all that it entails. And that brings me hope, because we're not alone. We're part of a legion of emerging people that it's timeless, of course, since the beginning humans, or since early civilization, when there were early problems, there were always those seeking to find solutions. But the solution leaders, the solution creators, are so potent and in such profound abundance right now that, to me, it could go either way. It could genuinely become the full explosion of human consciousness and the redesigning, recreation of our planet in our lifetime. And that's the potentiality that we have. That's what I wake up every morning and am excited to be engaged with. With all of you, with this institution, with Esalen, with these incredible texts and works, and all of our entheogenic friends that come to visit us in the right spaces. I mean, it's incredible. The universe is on our side. So I feel that if we can make it cross this threshold, then there's really a phenomenal future ahead of us. Some of you have, Chad's given me some insight, Max has given me some insight onto my own astrology. I'm relatively new to astrology in the depth that a lot of you are, so it's wonderful when you guys share the wisdom and knowledge with me. But anyone who looked at my chart would say this person is probably geared towards future, realization of the future, a fascination with the future. And that's absolutely true. On one hand, I love the embeddedness of this moment, the groundedness of being here, and I'm very comfortable being present. But when I face obstacles, I just get such joy from seeing the potentiality in that situation. Whereas, so I love potentiality, and I see so much potentiality amongst our species and amongst this group right here. In 2010, I had a very interesting series of holotropic experiences in which I was, how would I say that? In which I came into the field. I had direct relational experience with the quantum field. And over a series of events and sessions, we could say, I developed a profound relationship to what I would call the actual consciousness of that field. And that blew my mind. I had never experienced anything like it, essentially immersing myself in a fractalized, infinite, holographic quantum field that was intelligent and communicative and pleasant and fun to be around. Insightful, like a friend who knew everything about me and didn't hold it against me. And for about 3 years, I virtually thought about that experience every single day. I've thought about it every day since then. But it was those experiences that led me to CIIS. And my quest here was to develop a language for emerging consciousness that was embedded in the Western mystery traditions and the philosophical Western traditions, and in the new cosmological, scientific, quantum understanding, cosmological story that we're all exploring. And so I knew I needed to, with my Aquarian energy, I needed to ground these experiences. I needed to just embrace that and ground these experiences. Last year at Esalen, in the first few weeks of class last year, it was my first year in PCC as a master's student, I would hear Rick talk about the numinous logos and the logos of this. And I'm like, I keep hearing it, and I had no idea what he's talking about. And I would hear other people say it in context that was kind of foreign. And then so finally, pretty quickly, I was like, I gotta know what this is, because this might be important. And so I started delving in and doing some research into it. And I realized very quickly that there's a long lineage of mystics that use the language of the logos in order to describe the type of reality that I'm wanting to understand and wanting to harmonize on this planet right now. And then so I kind of started to create, think within myself all these different ideas of, how humanity, what's our relationship to this larger evolutionary process, and essentially what is the logos itself. So when I speak of the logos, there's a variety of definitions. I kind of choose or gravitate towards Philo's definition. Is Philo, is that correct?
Philo?
Yeah. The Jewish kind of Hermetic philosopher, in which he basically considers the logos as an intermediary between between God and matter, essentially, between the single generating force that is everything and its manifestation. So there's all these incredible theological debates for hundreds and hundreds of years, I guess thousands of years almost, or more, whatever, about the nature of, God and matter. What is that relationship? And so the logos itself can really be seen as an intermediary between those things, and in that sense is permeating everything around us. It's what brings structure. What brings form. It's directly related to the archetypal realms. It is the realm in which the archetypes come into being, we could say. And when we look around, it's all around us. It's in each of us. It's in you and I here. The most clear relationship we can have with it is just being in nature. That's the logos continuously manifesting itself for our experience or its own experience, or, you know, so it's ever present. And this began to blow my mind, because I was like, wow, these guys, you know, this whole school of thought has a language. I had a background in Hindu philosophy when I was younger, so I was really fascinated by the Brahman and the Atman. And so I was already there. I wanted to understand that aspect of it. But then to hear the Greek and Western esoteric perspective was really spiritually satisfying for me. And then I knew I was in the right academic environment, because I felt so invigorated and so enlivened by it. And then in that process, I began to delve into Brian's work and Thomas Berry's work and Teilhard's work. And I found that Teilhard had a really incredible philosophy on how we are emerging, how it is we are evolving, what is it we're evolving towards. And so in Teilhard de Chardin, in his philosophy, he talks a lot about what he calls the omega point. And the omega point is essentially a spiritualization of the entire cosmos. It's the unification of all beings within the consciousness of the one mind, of the one being, God, we could say. And then to Teilhard, he was a Jesuit and a paleontologist. So to Teilhard, like, Christ was that embodiment, the embodiment of the Logos in human form, and the trajectory towards the omega point. And so I began to kind of like develop a language that was really fascinating, and I realized that a lot of the ideas that I was wanting to have had already been said in an interesting way by Teilhard and by others. And so I began to realize and really think to myself that we really are heading somewhere. We're heading towards a spiritualization of matter, of biology. We're heading towards an awakening of the cosmic mind and the cosmic soul within everything that that has come from it. I mean, the other night I was thinking about when we say cosmos and psyche, you know, the body of the universe and the psyche of the universe. It kind of dawned on me just a couple days ago. I was like, wait, when we're saying psyche, we're actually meaning a psyche of the universe. Like, that's a self, that's a subject, it's a thing. You know, so this universe is just this one thing. And in a sense, we would be subconscious constructs of that psyche, you know, which is really cool. Makes me feel a little more at home, you know. So I was really fascinated by how it is we got into this crisis that we're facing right now, and how that ties into spiritual evolution. You know, Max and Missy and I are developing this documentary film, and in the process we've had to really delve into a lot of things that are really painful, the nature of where we're headed, ecological collapse, really intense stuff like that. And so for me, I was, but in the process of exploring this film, we basically learned more and more about this emerging movement of people that are bringing forward a new vision at every level in every community around the world. And so it was a balance of seeing the bleakness that is really where we're headed to, but seeing this other potentiality emerging that's sort of steering things, a great turning of things in a new direction. And so I began to correlate a lot of Teilhard's ideas and some of these other ideas with this idea that maybe this evolutionary impulse is radically spiritualizing all of us that are on the forefront, because that's what humanity needs and our planet needs in order for us to survive this situation right now. So I began kind of like looking for more evidence of how it is that this spiritual mind is like coming into being, and what that really means. And so that's kind of how I created this language of what I would call the logosphere. So in Teilhard's language, if the biosphere is what gives life to our planet, and the noosphere is the whole collective sphere of human consciousness, the arts, culture, human creativity, an actual sphere that envelops our planet. I would term the logosphere as the next layer in which the logos itself, the generating forces of the universe, the cosmic psyche, is actually further penetrating into our reality right now and making itself known to us more explicitly through the things that we create, through artistic movements, through new forms of consciousness, through science, through quantum theory, and of course through the new cosmological story. You know, if we're being drawn towards developing this new cosmological story, there might be an underlying evolutionary impulse behind that. It's not like we're just trying to create something new. Maybe something's being created through us and we are just being asked to articulate it into human language. So I began to see that as a potentiality and really see that, I got 10, as our task right now, as the gift that we've been given as humans right now, that virtually we are, you know, as Brian and Thomas and Theo would say, we are the universe coming forward in human form for the full love and devotion towards the entire thing, towards the entire cosmos. Like, we are that greater love devotion that the universe is wanting to express itself through. And all the creativity that comes along with that is ours. All the potentiality, all the fearlessness and the strength that comes along with that is ours to cultivate. And so I began to think about, well, what will happen as we begin to further immerse ourselves in this cosmological, relational experience, in this embedded relationship with each other as selves and others, dissolving that barrier of the other and being the self with the self experiencing the multiple selves through the selves. And for us to create a language of that and for us to actually embed that in the things that we do, I believe that's our task and that's our mission, and I believe that's genuinely going to be what saves our species ultimately, is by not just going here and learning the new story, but then channeling it, going from the psyche and then bringing it down into the cosmos and vice versa and bringing it back and really transmitting that and transmutating that into our own lives and into the things that we create. And so with our film project, it's almost comical. We started out saying, how can we use solar panels to solve the climate crisis? And we're like, nope, it's more like, how can we transform the consciousness of the entire planet? And solar panels are a symbolic footnote. And so, but when we bring things forward, sometimes we have to make them digestible for larger audiences. So we make them, we present them and say, oh, here, you like solar panels? Well, guess what? Solar panels gets us away from fossil fuels, which is dead energy. It was extracting dead energy. It was a system based on death, based on the cultivation of death. I mean, is it not strange to you guys that the military-industrial complex is founded by not just slavery and wealth extraction, but even its energy is founded on death? So the new emerging paradigm that we're seeing is virtually completely connected to life. It is that of life. It is pulling us towards it and asking us to participate in that. And in that process, we get to virtually let go of these shackles that have been imposed, self-imposed, systematically imposed, whatever we want to say. This post-traumatic projection situation that we find ourselves in which we have projected our collective psyche on the oppressors, and they've created some strange dream in which we've tried to navigate through. As that's coming to a close, and as we are re-embodying our shadow selves and facing this darkness within ourselves and making tough decisions within ourselves and being fearless about it, we are virtually bringing back that shadow energy into us, and we're closing this loop in which karmically we are saying we are ready to align with life We are ready to align with the generating forces of the universe and bring that through in the things that we create. And from a cosmological and evolutionary perspective, it makes perfect sense that that's exactly the transition we need to be at right now. That's the transition where we're at. And for us here as leaders on this planet, for us here as a very incredibly blessed group of people, it's taken a lot of hard work, but we are each so blessed to do that work and to be here together. As this blessed group of people right here, we have that responsibility to translate this vision in which it still holds the harmonic resonance of the source in which we are moving towards, but has an applicability that awakens people on various archetypal levels, on levels that are rudimentary or commonly experienced, new businesses, new educational models, things that are very tangible, So the one thing I really would like to share with you and just be in this presence with you is that, first of all, I think we're going to do it. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be really hard, and it's going to be very painful sometimes. And that might be an elongated period in the near future. And we all understand where we're at, even politically in this country right now. It's a very frightening situation for any of us all to face. But as we've seen historically, there's this impulse towards greater goodness, towards justice, towards deeper awakening. And that impulse is way more powerful than a bunch of guys on computers tracking people on their freaking, on their phones. Or any sort of strange, fictitious monetary system that is not in harmony with nature. We have nature on our side. We have the will of the cosmos and the evolutionary impulse on our side. So that brings me hope, and that makes me feel very excited to be facing this with all of you. Very excited to be engaged with this and participating in bringing forward a new species and a new culture. Because we have 200 million? 200,000. Whoa, that's even further than I thought. We have 200 million years ahead of us, you guys. And we don't know what that future is going to hold. And if we're headed on the same trajectory, I think once we face a lot of our karmic issues and really embrace a lot of the healing that's necessary, we're going to be an absolutely incredible species. And not just sub-pockets, the entire human and earth community living together in harmony in this absolutely phenomenal way. Technology's harmonious with nature. Multidimensional consciousness. And maybe when we're ready, intergalactic existence, coexistence with other advanced species that are our elders, that we're ready to share. We have no idea where we're headed and what potentialities exist. So, in closing, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for being here. We're here not because we don't think we're going to make it. We're here because we think there's a chance. And the fact that we are thinking that and we're moving towards that and we're willing to embrace a lot of the suffering that it takes to actually move through that, that's how we become strong, and that's how we actually make this shift. So it's an honor to be here with you. And lest us not forget, we have the universe. We are the universe. That is what's moving forward through us. It is us. It's really exciting. Thank you for being here. Questions? Is that?
Can't hear you then.
Thank you very much for that. I'm sure I'm inspired. I had the pleasure of talking to you the first night I was here, and I was just so impressed by your perspective. And just when you were doing your speech today, when you were doing your talk today, you said, you started your life in despair, right? And then look at the way you're talking now. So what was this? What do you think was the switch? Because I think it's important for us to sort of know what might even switch consciousness. Just maybe by your own personal experience, what switched you over from despair to to this really hopeful.
The embracing of suffering, the full experience of suffering. I tried to kill myself twice when I was 13 and 14, in various forms. And that didn't really relieve it. I still experienced a lot of suffering. And for me, work with entheogens in particular, psilocybin has been my greatest teacher and ally. But more holistically, immersing myself in a community of those who are willing to hold the balance of suffering and love and potential. Because I don't think it can be either or. I think it's that. That's all I can really say. It took me about 10 years to kind of get out of that.
Okay, well, I think you just said a lot.
Oh. Richard?
Thank you, Theo. I've been thinking lately a lot about these two general cosmological tendencies. One is entropy, and I've read about it several times, and something in me is resisting it. And I think there's a sadness in this notion that energy will dissipate. And then there's this other direction of complexification, which is a very different dynamic. And I tried to hold those two together, and I found peace in the notion of emergence, that there is the possibility with those two directions, is sort of in a harmony of between entropy and complexification, that there is this miraculous event happening, that something new can arise, that I'm thinking pre-galaxy to galaxy, or pre-star to star. And before you have that first star, it is really difficult to conceive of a star. If all those atoms will talk to each other, like I have this vision, someday, something magnificent.
If we all get together, I don't know.
Right? And some would say, like, you're crazy, like, what are you talking about?
I'm being propelled by you. Try harder, try harder.
And then you have this moment of the first star shining, and suddenly the whole cosmos is like, whoa, check it out. And I feel like your presentation was pointing to that even despite the fact that we can feel that despair so deeply inside, all of us, that we have to remain open, that something might be on the horizon that's far surpasses what our wildest imagination could hold right now.
I think it does, yeah.
So I feel, thank you for pointing that out, and like going intergalactic, just like, expanding it a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Yeah. This is it. This is the special time that we have right now on this earth. And it's beautiful.
I couldn't close with the Life of Brian clip. It's a fiction scene. Look on the sunny side of life.
Yeah. Cool, thank you guys. Yeah, this is it. This is the special time that we have right now on this earth, and it's beautiful.
To have a cookie close with the Life of Brian clip, the crucifixion scene. Look on the sunny side of life.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys. Yeah, this is it. This is the special time that we have right now on this earth, and it's beautiful.
To have a cookie close with the Life of Brian clip, the crucifixion scene. Look on the sunny side of life.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys.